So, this is Super Mario Land for the Nintendo Game Boy. Right off the bat here, you're going to see that this is pretty much in vein of the rest of your classic Mario speedruns in that it's a lot of tight platforming at very high speed and little to no room for error because you're small Mario and you cannot get hit. So what sets this game apart from the other Marios is its physics engine is a little quirky, but we do take advantage of that in the run to get some really, really hard jumps and to maneuver in some really weird ways. Also, you'll notice the tile size is very small, meaning that there is a lot of on-screen action, and that's going to come into play in later levels when they start to get into some crazier level setups. So 1-2 has the first of a few pretty crazy jumps in this game. You saw it with the moving platforms, and you jump all the way across the screen to hit it. There's a couple different setups for that, but no matter how you do it, it's pretty tricky. So then we enter our first fortress castle style level, which I guess is technically a pyramid in this game. On 1-3, it's a Mario level. There are pipe jumps. And the Piranha Plant hitboxes are way too generous, as always. That jump right there, when you bounce off of the Sphinx guy and then hit the ground, that's really, really precise. There's only a couple frames for you to bounce off the ground after that, and if you don't, well, you fall into the pit and you're dead. And that is World 1. So this cutscene is going to lead into a little bonus game where you can get 1, 2, or 3 lives or a fire flower. And depending on what you get, whether you get lives or a flower, is going to actually change your strats. Because if you go into a world with a fire flower, there's a different strat set that you can do that actually takes advantage of that fire flower to save a little time. So in this run, I actually get the fire flower. And using this fire flower in World 2, I'm going to damage boost in here to not have to worry about some of these jumping fish. So 2-1 has a lot of really hard jumps, not all of which I'm doing. Although since getting this PB, I've actually improved a little and I'm starting to do more of them. See, so as you can see, I took the damage using the fire flower because I don't really need it and saves time. So I'm going to go right under here. That is a little difficult to do because stopping and starting, thanks to this game's physics engine, is really hard. And so then this coin block here, the coin cache, if you're a Darbian fan, really, it's impossible to get out of. It's kind of ridiculous. There is a 1-frame jump that you can use to go under that, but that is not marathon safe, so I would not be attempting it. 2-2 has a lot of one-tile jumps like that. We're going to be jumping on and off of small blocks. And then over here, nothing particularly exciting. You want to take that path. If you go like over, under, over instead, it's going to be significantly more difficult. So right here, I'm going to hop onto this block to avoid that shot. There's a couple of different ways to go about that one, but I find that way to be very safe without losing time. So 2-3 is the first of 2 auto-scrollers in this game. The second being the final bosses stage. So the only thing you're going to notice in here before the boss is that I'm just not getting hit. Because we are going to take a mushroom into the next world to do a really crazy set of skips in 3-1. But this whole auto-scroller is a great time for donations or commentary or really anything. Unfortunately, you're kind of stuck with this running this game. There is actually a crazy screen wrap glitch that you can do in this game, and it's actually used in the tasks in this run. The thing is, it's only doable in the 1.0 version of this game as opposed to the 1.1. I actually have a 1.0 cart, and I'm currently working on finding an RTA viable setup for that, so I could even possibly do it as a glitch showcase or something like that. But as of right now, not even the world record does the crazy screen wrap. Here's the Mario coins. It begs the question, did these aliens know Mario were coming? Mario was coming, excuse me. Because that's actually the plot of this game. There are, aliens. Mario's on an alien planet trying to save Princess Daisy from Sarasara Land. So here's the boss, and you're gonna go right under him, mash really quick, destroy those 6 blocks, and hit the switch. So once again, we're gonna play this little bonus game to try and get a Fire Flower. The Fire Flower is actually really useful in 3-1 because it makes some very, very difficult jumps very, very easy, because you can like snipe the enemies on the platforms before you land, so that you don't have to deal with them in real time, I guess. So in this run, I only get the lives, and unfortunately 3 lives is the worst thing to get because it loses some time. It's that little RNG element. So 3-1. 3-1 is pretty hard because you're going to do a lot of little jumps. And these little sections, you'll see that pattern of blocks repeated. So this is one thing that can be alleviated with the Fire Flower. You can take care of that Koopa. But we didn't get it, so we're not going to. So right here, we're just going to hop right under that guy. And same thing here. Unfortunately, I lost my mushroom, so I'm going to get the backup strat mushroom right here. And then in this run, I didn't do the, there's a crazy skip where you jump off of that cannon's bullet bill if it shoots the other way, then hit that boulder, and then make it across the gap. Since getting this PB, I've been practicing that and I've been getting more consistent. There's also a skip you can do across this gap, which I wouldn't do in a marathon. You can just jump straight on top of the boulder and then jump across. It's like 2 or 3 frames, but that skip where you damage boost is why we need the mushroom going into this world. Because that one saves a lot of time. That one saves the most time out of all 3. So in a marathon setting, the bullet bill skip is very doable, but unfortunately the middle one is really not. So this is 3-2. This is probably the hardest level in the game for casual players, and it's really brutal as a speedrun because, as you can see, there are enemies everywhere. So I've seen a couple different strats for multiple parts of this level, getting different mushrooms in different spots, but there's really no easy way to do this level. So here we're going to damage boost across the spikes again, and then this jump right here, that's really, really tight. Actually, if you don't turn around, it's, as far as I can tell, a sub-pixel shenanigans jump as to whether or not you get hit by one of those spiders. So in a marathon run, you do a little turnaround right as you fall off the bullet bill cannon to make sure nothing happens. So here's 3-3. This level has a lot of moving platforms in it, which of course means platform skips. So we're just going to skip that one and jump right across. There is a skip that you can do on these platforms also, but it is sub-pixel perfect, so not RTA viable. But we're going to skip across that one. There's a Kaizo block above that pipe, by the way. Super Mario Land invented the Kaizo block. They should be called Super Mario Land blocks. But that's beside the point. So the boss of this world is this guy that throws cinnamon rolls. I mean rocks, but they're cinnamon rolls. So we're going to try and jump right across, and that's harder than it looks because of the weird acceleration system in this game, where essentially every time you want to go from stop to run, you have to press the run button before you jump, or you won't get run speed in your jump. So it can be pretty difficult to get those rock jumps because the standing contact boxes, I guess the hit boxes on those rocks, are really weird. So 4-1 is also a big level for use of the Fire Flower. It's actually the biggest time save out of all of them. Unfortunately, I didn't get it here, and you'll see why the Fire Flower is so useful. But even if you don't have the Fire Flower, you can still do this level very fast. So as you can see, this is why you want the Fire Flower. There are lots of piranha plants in this level. And they're all in like low gaps like that. So you can bypass those entirely by using the Fire Flower. So this level seems to bring back the return of really, really tight enemy dodge platforming, because there's just enemies everywhere in this level. Luckily that star is there, which saves a ton of time in this section here, as you can see, where we're just barreling through these piranha plants instead of really having to wait for them, because that would lose a lot of time. So here we're going to damage boost and run by this guy. There is a slightly faster strat that I've practiced since this PB, and I would hope to showcase it in the marathon. I'm gonna wait there, not because you can actually run straight through all those hopping vampires, but those bullet bills were in the way and I would have hit one. Same thing with the 3 cannons at the end. If there are bullet bills ahead of you, you don't want to risk running into one, because they have weird hitboxes too. 3-2 is the, or 4-2, excuse me, is the last platformer level in the game. 4-3 is an auto-scroller. And this level has a lot going on, some things that aren't even showcased in this run. But again, we're seeing these like piranha plant tunnels, and that one is really difficult to navigate because of the jumping. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get this mushroom, and then I'm going to damage boost it and run right through there. I'm going to grab this star. There is a trick called the super jump, where you can jump right off of that platform onto the ground without waiting for it to come back around. Since getting that PB, I've been practicing it a little more, and I should be able to pull it off in a marathon. If not, the nice thing about this game is that it has checkpoints just about everywhere. So, if you die on the super jump, you actually you respawn after the jump. So there's not a major time loss. As you can see, you carry that mushroom to the end so that you can run through that piranha plant. If you get the super jumps, the star invincibility time will actually last until the piranha plant. You just run right through, because you can't make the second super jump if you're big. So you just use the star invincibility instead. So this is the second auto-scroller in the game, and it leads to the final boss. Nothing terribly exciting. Just dodge and maybe rack up some points to try and get a few extra lives if you're short. In this run, I am not, because I got that 3 live bonus among others. The unfortunate thing with these auto-scrollers is that they're not sit-back auto-scrollers. You really have to be active because these enemies are trying to hurt you. So we are going to take a mushroom to the final boss, because we are going to do a damage boost mashing inside the boss sort of quick kill. Or at least something close to that. Unfortunately, I believe in this run, I don't get it. But since PB, I have also found a more consistent setup for myself for that because of what happened in this run. But we're going to try and use that mushroom to damage boost and then just ram inside the boss and just fire away, because there's a limited amount of shots that can be on screen, so if they're hitting the hitbox instantly, we're not limited by that. So that's the end of the really hard part of the auto-scroller. Here's just the giant coin box. And then we have a little few tunnels here, where if you're a casual player, not really paying much attention, you actually can die in here because the screen will crush you if you're going slowly, but for a speedrunner, it's not a problem. So thankfully there's one last mushroom there just in case anything happens during the final boss, or during the lead up to the final boss, excuse me. And here's the boss. So it has 2 phases. First, there's this cloud that shoots ducks. So unfortunately that's not what you want to happen. You want to kill that cloud as it's coming at you, but before it hits you, so that you can save the mushroom to damage boost into this guy, Tatanga. Unfortunately I didn't get that in this run, but he's pretty safe to kill anyways. You just sit back a little and let the shots rain over him, and that is it. 1943, that is Super Mario Land for the Nintendo Game Boy.